How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome also Yuwan Thayakaran. Say hi, Yuwan.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Are you very well today?
Yes, I am.
I'm also very well, thank you very much for asking. Today we're talking about a topic that I've spoken about quite a lot on my YouTube channel. That is cheap first cars versus expensive first cars. And as you well know, my VW Polo 9N is not my first car, it's my second car, funnily enough. However, it's most people's first car, so we're going to gloss over that point. And we're also going to talk about Yuwan's first car, which is an absolute banger, so stay tuned for that. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. And without further ado, what are we doing?
Let's get into the video.
You already know. So the plan today is to basically compare mine and Yuwan's cars. It's pretty simple. My car costs £400. How much did yours cost, Yuwan?
£4,650.
That is cash. I can confirm that is more than 10 times the amount I paid for my Polo. But I mean, I've done a few mods to mine as well, so there is that. Let's spin around and look at them, shall we? So Yuwan, do you want to talk me through this absolute beast of a first car?
Yes. So this is a Honda CRZ 2010. I named it Jennifer because it's cute. It's got alloys as standard, which this car doesn't have. Three doors.
Yep.
Good. Makes it look sporty.
We do like 3 doors. Yep.
Optional extra.
That's chaos.
Open the door, yeah. Leather seats. Heated leather seats.
Now those are the real deal, that's got to be said.
Also optional extra.
Yep.
Wing.
Yep.
It looks cool.
So yeah, that makes it at least 40% more downforce, I reckon.
Yeah, 40. 45. Got my name here.
You gotta bang
YouTube
out
channel.
that. Gotta bang out that.
So that, yeah.
Do you want to plug the Instagram as well?
Yeah. At Yuwan Thayakaran. Follow me right now.
Man knows.
Oh yeah.
Follow me too, because he's got more followers than me, so I'm the one who needs them. But
Condensation on the tail lights.
oh, we hate to see
Adds
that.
character.
It does have character. You're correct.
Parking sensors.
That's huge.
An optional extra.
That is huge.
Helps a lot.
Should we have a look at how big the boot space is?
Yes, we'll look at it.
It's actually surprisingly small. I actually expected the boot to be bigger
But
in this car.
rear seats. Fold that down like that.
Oh yeah, then you got
Remove
much more
that.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
is true.
subwoofer here.
No, yeah, that's also a key benefit. Like, no need to actually bang in a subwoofer into the car because you've got one already. That is pretty cool. Can we have a look at the interior from the other side?
Yes.
I like these door handles as well. Like, these door handles are quite different to your average ones, which is quite nice, and they sit quite flush with the car. I think that's really cool. On the interior then, so I was saying to you, and actually in a video that I recorded with him, which you definitely go check out when it comes out, it's the driving show and it's going to be really interesting. But I actually quite like this whole sort of setup of grey and black or whatever it is. But I do think that this should have the penny job done to it. I'm thinking carbon fibre across here, carbon fibre along here, some carbon fibre on the doors as well, make it like 90 to 100% lighter. That's just how it works. Obviously carbon fibre on the steering will be well nice too. I just think this is a really nice cockpit though. Like, not being funny, this is a really cool space to be in. So yeah, big fan of the interior of the car there, Yuwan. You have smashed it. What was the rationale behind this one? I know you were looking at 2 other cars as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I was looking at a BMW 1 Series and a Ford Fiesta Zetec S.
Nice.
Mark 7.
And why did you go for the Honda over those two?
Because the BMW and Ford are basic and this isn't.
You make it very, it is as simple as that. So what I was thinking then is that I could compare the basics of this car to the basics of my car, and then we can kind of work out whether or not it was worth spending over 10 times the amount to have a first car as nice as this one over my VW Polo Penny, which hopefully you're aware of by now. Let's talk first of all about what you get in the 10 times as expensive first car over the 10 times less expensive first car. So in this, you have a 1.2 litre engine putting out 54 brake horsepower. Nothing particularly interesting. It is slow as anything. It does 0 to 60 in 18 seconds. 18, honestly awful. This, on the other hand, does 0 to 60 in 8 seconds, so less than half the time, which is pretty insane, although it's not 10 times faster, which I mean, monetarily that doesn't make that much sense, does it now, Yuwan?
No.
But yeah, no, this is 8 seconds 0 to 60, which is very, very nice for a first car. Part of the reason it does 0 to 60 in 8 seconds is the fact that it's a hybrid, so this car it never runs automatically on electric, does it? It runs, always has the petrol engine going as well, doesn't it?
But the electric motor, it sits like a Formula 1 car.
Formula 1, yeah, okay. So basically what you've got here is a Formula 1 car for a first car, which is pretty mad. Although Honda haven't really been around for making the best Formula 1 engines, sorry McLaren, etc. But yeah, no, so what you do get is a 1.5 litre hybrid engine. How much horsepower does it put out? I actually am not aware.
124.
124, so again, more than double the horsepower coming out of this car as well. The fact you've got the hybrid running alongside it as well is quite beneficial for the miles per gallon on this. So theoretically it's 70 miles per gallon, am I correct? Around 70 it can do. That's mad. Like, honestly, I don't think I'd ever got over 30 in my car. If I got 30 miles per gallon in this car, I would be loving life. And the way that I drive really doesn't allow for that. So one thing that I think is really nice about the Honda over my Polo is the fact that it is just that much lower. So if I go and stand here, you can see pretty much just how much lower that Honda is and how much nicer the roofline is. As it's a sports coupe, it just really sits flush. Almost looks like a shark. I think a shark is the best way of putting it.
It's even got a fin on the back.
So yeah, I think that roofline and that kind of much more sporty shape is something that you don't really get on a first car, so fair play to Yuwan for having that. I think another thing as well that's a bit nicer about going for that, and it's a bit more modern as well, is that love of having a big grille. So as you can see here, that grille is actually quite sizable compared to mine, which is obviously much smaller, and also handmade by myself, so there is also that. So in terms of aesthetics as well then, one thing that is quite cool about this is that obviously it comes with these alloys as standard, as Yuwan mentioned. Obviously I've got alloys on my car, but I put these on myself. These cost me extra money. These are just part and parcel with the car when it comes to CRZ, which is really, really nice. Something else in terms of how it looks as well, and also kind of functionality point, is that these are electric folding mirrors and they come color coded to the car as standard. Mine, as you may know, I painted these myself and they barely even fold in. Like, honestly, it's like proper, like, you've got to like properly send it to get them in. So yeah, I would say that having nice electric mirrors is clearly a benefit. One final point I wanted to mention as well around how the car looks is the fact that on my car you have this quite grim non-color coded trim around the edge of the car, whereas on Yuwan's it's all color coded, which is much more 2010s and mine is much more 2000s. So it's just a very different style of car in that sense. And also I think it looks much nicer with the coded trim versus the non-coded. You can let me know your thoughts.
And the trim is an optional extra.
Oh,
did you know?
Bam, everything on Yuwan's car, I swear, is an optional extra. It's like whoever blessed him with this car came through with those optional extras. Yeah. One thing I do like about this car, by the way, this is not to do with the car itself, but one thing that I do like is the number plate. That's cash. You are winning with that.
It's got my little quote on the bottom as well.
Does it? Oh, let's have a look. It is I. Oh mate, that's huge. Looking at the boot spaces then, obviously the Polo is the bigger of the two in terms of the boot, but I wouldn't say that the Polo has a particularly sizable boot. I'm trying to get a good position for you to see it. Sorry about the rubbish in the back, it's just camera equipment and all that nonsense. But like, it's big enough to fit me in. As you're well aware, you've seen one of my previous videos, I've actually gotten into the boot of my car. It's big enough for a 6-foot male to sit in. I don't think somehow I'd be getting in that boot. Although Yuwan is very kindly modelling it for me. He's in. Can you squeeze in? Oh.
If you get rid of this.
If you got rid of the side, you'd be on it. But yeah, the boot in this is quite shallow is what it is. Yes, look at that.
Close the boot as well.
It's going. Stunning stuff. Look at that. He fits in perfectly. How's that, Yuwan?
It's not even cramped.
It's not even cramped?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cheating, he's got the back seats down, but he does fit very, very comfortably into the car. So jumping into the CRZ then. CRZ GT, no less. Yeah. So it's not messing about. This is actually a very nice place to be. So, like, as you can see here, if I just go right in front of Yuwan's face here, the cockpit's quite nice. Do you want to turn it on so I get that nice little light up? Yeah, we love to see that. Look at that. That's quite nice. Can you show me the old engine start as well? Because that's pretty cool as well. You get this nice little button here. That's really, really cool. Just feels a lot nicer and a lot more modern than the Polo, it's got to be said. And the sunroof. Look at that. That's madness. That's huge. Like, just blocking out the haters and then just letting them all back in again. It's actually very spacious for me here in the front, which is quite nice too. And as an overall, I mean, this is a really, really comfortable and clearly quite modern place to be in. As I said, it could do with some carbon fibre here and there, but that's a personal preference, shall we say. Other key goods is the fact that it's got an aux as standard. We love to see that, that's quite important. Oh, Pretty good, isn't it? This is actually, like, obviously you probably can't hear it as well as we can, but this is some good sound. It's very sort of smooth, good bass. I'm an audiophile, so I'm a big fan of this. Oh, and key goods as well. This is something that we definitely have on the Polo. We've got all these buttons on the steering wheel that allow you to make calls, change the volume. I mean, this is all very basic stuff for most people's cars, but with a £400 2002 Polo, you don't get all this great stuff, and loads of like digital stuff on the dash as well being changed. Yeah, it's basically, as I've said a million times already, it's actually quite a nice space to be in, and these seats are super comfy as well. Like, they've got just enough bolster and not too much bolster. They're not like invasive, or they don't get in the way of your arms. So another thing that we've got here as well is if you look over onto this side of the steering wheel, over here you've got sport mode and normal mode as well. So the car does like 0 to 60 in about 9 seconds, 9.3 seconds in normal mode, and then 8 seconds in sport, which is pretty cool. And then on top of all of that as well, the gearbox is a 6-speed. Oh, if I can get that to focus, it's still not focusing. Come on, what's going on here? Sonia is screwing me up heavy here. There we go. So as you can see there, 6-speed gearbox, very, very nice. Something that you don't really get in first cars. But I think there's one thing about this car that I think makes that whole being 10 times more than my Polo a complete waste of time and money. I've got to say that, Yuwan. It's one thing that I don't think is acceptable, right? So I'm a 6-foot male. Most of my friends are around about 6 foot. I've got a few small mates, but we'll gloss over those ones. And I don't think I can sit in the back of this car. I don't think Yuwan thinks I can sit in the back of this car. No. So this is for a person who hasn't got tall friends. Let's give it a go. Right, so I've moved this seat all the way forward, as you can see down here. That's the amount of space the person in the front would have, which is certainly not enough for me right now. But I've moved this seat the whole way forward to see if I can feasibly sit in the back of this car. And so let's give this a go, shall we? Right. Oh. Yep, that's a lot of my crotch you're probably seeing on the video right now. So, I mean, I can fit in the back. I'm in, but in terms of like someone being in the front, probably not doable. Yuwan, do you want to try and close the old front seat a little bit? Just like bring it back to, as in like bring this bit, like, see if I can. So I reckon I could, like, you could just about fit, and like, yeah, my whole neck is craned forward like this. So in terms of having friends, Yuwan, I wouldn't say this is the best car for the job, would you?
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's a good loaner car.
Have you taken friends in this car before?
Yes.
How many?
Two. One there, one in the back.
Were they lying down?
Nearly.
They
had to like kind of tilt their, yeah, like that, like kind of tilt it like that.
You gotta go for like this. You can go for like the lays, the lounge.
Yeah.
So I'm out here lounging. Like, it's quite a good spot for lounging, but in terms of sitting,
it's not good.
So I wouldn't say it's the best. Shall I flex on you with my my Polo?
Okay.
Let's do that. Right, so now we're back with the Polo then. My passenger seat is exactly where it was before. I haven't moved it. It's plenty of room for a human being to sit into, and you and I are going to get in the back of the car so we can as normal people would sit in the back seat of a car. So let's give that a go, shall we, Yuwan? Yeah. Just move the old seat forward, no worries. In fact, the seat slides out of the way to help, unlike the old CLZ. Oh, look at that. That is 2 human beings. Very, very comfortable. Look at this. There's space. But yeah, so like plenty of space. Fit another person here. Like, it's a surprisingly spacious little car. You know what I mean?
5-seat.
Yeah, man, 5-seat.
Whoa.
Man knows. See?
Flexing on me.
I can have many a friend in this car. Yuwan is a great car for himself and flexing on people, but he can't flex with people. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Cup holders are pathetic though.
Oh, shut up, blood man. They're good cup holders. They do their job. Right, so we've talked through the, to be fair to it, very nice Honda CRZ. Let's have a quick look over this car, which you're probably aware of if you've been following the channel for quite some time. And I think Yuwan can give a few of his thoughts on just how beautiful and stunning this Polo 9N actually is. Yeah? Yeah, that doesn't sound like a very convincing. Yeah, that sounds like it's not actually that nice. No, this car is obviously one of my passion and basically the foundation of my YouTube channel. So in terms of having this as a first car, then as I said, that 1.2 litre engine, it's not tremendously economical, but it does the job. It's also not very fast, but as a first car, I think that you don't really need much more power than what this car is giving. Some modifications I've done to it, obviously, as you can see, I've done the alloys, but I've also got some very nice Toyota T1Rs on there. Some people don't like them. I quite like them. They do the job for me. I've painted these, as I mentioned. It's on slightly lower, although quite OEM dampers. These shocks are not standard. They are the Pro Sport ones. They drop the car about 3 centimeters, which is quite helpful. Really helps the car to handle quite well in corners. That's one thing that people are surprised by with this car, the way that it handles going around corners. As I said, good boot space. It's generally quite good in terms of rust. They've got no real rust. I have got a few scratch marks and stuff. Obviously, when you buy a £400 car, it may have been in a few fender benders. It's not a categorized car or anything. Let's jump inside the car and have a look on the interior. So yes, as you can see on my interior, you don't quite get the same benefit of turning it on and struggling with the door there, Yuwan. Love to see it. You don't quite get the same benefit. So if I turn this on, you get instead, the only light that you get left on is the ABS light. Also, for some reason, the seatbelt light just went off even though my seatbelt's not on. And obviously you've got the handbrake light, but no biggie. Obviously I've got my own radio, one of the Sony ones. I can't actually remember which one it was. My dad got it for me for Christmas or something a few years ago. Does the job. The speakers in here are surprisingly good. I won't bother playing them to you right now. You've heard them in enough videos so far. They're not surround sound though, so Yuwan is absolutely flexing on me when it comes to that kind of nonsense. Plenty of space in the back, as we've already discussed, but it is actually a very spacious car. One thing that VW like to do with their cars is, rather than giving space to the mechanic who might need to fix the car if anything goes wrong, they give their space to you, the driver, and the passengers. So all of the things that you might need to work on in this car are in the extremities. We're making it quite difficult if you want to change stuff, but it's comfortable for you when you're driving, and you probably want to spend most of your time driving your car rather than working on it, so it's a fair assumption by VW. But anyway, I think you've heard enough about my car in all my other videos, and obviously this one as well. So at this point we did actually go out and do some 0 to 60 runs. Unfortunately the footage was kind of ruined in one of them, so it's not a great comparison. Instead I thought I would just tell you that basically Yuwan's car is a lot quicker than mine, and give you this little clip of us going around in Yuwan's car as well. So here we are then, moving out in the CRZ. Pretty cool car actually. But yeah, it's actually a very comfortable car to be in. I've just been sitting in this car for about an hour and a half with Yuwan driving around and talking about loads of fun stuff. If you want to see that video, it will be going live on Yuwan's channel, I think very soon. It'll probably come out after this one. I'm going to put this one out on like Tuesday or something.
Come out 21st or 24th.
21st, 24th. So 21st, 24th, if you're watching it around then, go watch it. I'll be talking about loads of fun stuff, and it's just going to be a cool little chat that we had basically. But yes, this is a very nice car to be in. Funnily enough, it is very comfortable, much more smooth than my Polo, far fewer rattles and all that kind of stuff. And that's, I think, the key benefit of spending that money on a first car rather than just getting yourself something that's worth 400 quid like my Polo. So all in all, it was an absolutely amazing day going out with Yuwan and recording videos for his channel and for my channel. But when it comes down to the cars, I'm still of the opinion that you should have a nice cheap first car, something that is worth £400 and isn't super expensive, because you'll just live in fear of breaking it. But again, that's just my opinion, and Yuwan does have a really nice first car. So even though I've shown you just how many things are better on Yuwan's car than on my car, I just think that it's nice to have a £400 little beater as your first car. But obviously I'm massively biased considering it is actually my car I'm pitting against Yuwan's. I want to know what your guys' opinions are. Do you think it's worth spending 10 times extra for a car just like Yuwan's, this stunning CRZ, or spending the 400 quid and getting my very badly parked Polo? Let me know in the comments down below. Be really cool if we could have a chat about it, all that good stuff. I want to say a massive thank you to this man right here. Definitely go follow him on YouTube. Here he is right here. Same for Instagram, isn't it, as well? Yeah. Same exact hand for Instagram, so if you go follow him. And so yeah, I wanted to say a massive thank you to you guys. Big thanks to the patrons as well. Really appreciate your support. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.